Well, hello and welcome. In this presentation, we are looking to be able to identify the midpoint between 2 points on the Cartesian plane. Now, as a bit of a recap, consider medians. Now, if I was looking at three numbers and I had to identify the median or the middle number, what I would do is I would sort these from lowest to highest, and then the median would be the middle number. This situation would be 5. When I have just two numbers, what I have to do is effectively add those two numbers together and then divide by 2. So that would give me 6, and if I had a negative number and a positive number, I would add those two together. Negative 2 plus 6 would give me 4. 4 divided by 2 is 2. Now, when we're dealing with the Cartesian plane, we do a very similar thing. Now, if I have 2 points on the x-axis, so one is at 4, the other one is at negative 3. What I need to do, add those two together, 4 plus negative 3, that, and then divide by 2, and then I'll end up with 1/2. So working with midpoints on a Cartesian plane is no different to working out a median or a middle value. Let's look on the y-axis. Say I had a point at y equals 6, another one at y equals negative 4, and I wanted to find the midpoint or the halfway point. All I need to do, add those two together. Well, 6 plus negative 4, then divide by 2, will give me 1. So I could say the midpoint between here and here is where y equals 1. And you see that point, you can see that I have 5 above and I have 5 below. Now, when I have points that are away from either the y or the x-axis, I do a similar sort of thing, but I work on each one of these individually. So I'll work on the x-axis to begin with. Now, I look at the value here. The x value for that is 5. The x value for that is negative 3. Add those two together, divide by 2. There you have it. The midpoint is 1 in the x, or on the x direction. Then I need to work on the y direction. The value of y for this point is 6. The value of y for that point is 3. I need to just add those two up, add those two together, divide by 2, and the midpoint will be 4 1/2. So I could say the midpoint is 1, 4.5. The value of x is 1, value of y is 4.5, and if I identify that there is the midpoint between this one and this one here. Now, if my points are not defined on a Cartesian plane, I can do a very similar thing. Say, for instance, I wish to find the midpoint between the following pairs of coordinates. So 1, 2 and 5, negative 8. Well, I find the midpoints, or the midpoint for my x coordinates. Well, it's 1 and 5. So we'll go down the path, adding the 5 and the 1, then dividing by 2, and my x value is 3. Do a very similar thing for the y. The negative 8 is one of the y coordinates, 2 is the other y coordinate. Add those two together, divide by 2, negative 3. So there you have it. The midpoint for those two coordinates is 3, negative 3. So I hope you've enjoyed this presentation in determining the midpoint between a pair of coordinates. Bye for now.